I'm Adolphina Shephard. Welcome to God's Way, YTVY. This is my co-host, Thomas Knights Templar.
The Keebler elf. Good.
Yes. Well, we're going to say it now. Merry Christmas to everyone, one and all, so we don't forget.
That's right. Woo woo. You missed that. I'll do it again. Woo woo.
Oh, we've been having some laughs before the show, so you'll have to excuse us if we're a little silly. But we have a wonderful show primed up for you tonight. We're going to be talking about some issues that are just simply unprecedented. And it's the first time in our lifetime, and unless something miraculous happens that we live another 1,000 years, it won't happen in our next lifetime either. So, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and then we got some very important things to cover. Okay, so basically, we are in something that is called the Grand Convergence coming up. Now, basically, this is important because this is a cycle that God has in motion, okay? And it's happened many times before where we are leaving a dark age and going into a renaissance. So I don't know about you, but I can't wait till 2021.
Yes, but we're already started that anyway. The age of Pisces is over.
Yeah.
All right, so we started that basically sometime in early November, going into the Aquarius age, and everything's going to fall into place. And no matter what side of the coin you're on, I'll keep on looking at the wrong camera. No matter what side of the coin you're on, things will level off and even out.
Well, yes, and thank you, God, for that. Well, and the way this is actually put into motion is through something called the Grand Convergence. And basically, this hasn't happened for 800 years. So it's truly unprecedented. And the last time when we left the Dark Ages, there was also a virus. Now, and that was when, think about the inventions that came through TV, running water, showers, running toilets.
There'd be a whole world of stinky people.
I know, but remember, before that, they didn't have that, right? And then you think about planes and the internet and TV.
Look how far aviation came in like 70 years to what we have now.
Right, right. And
from
even
the Wright brothers and that prop plane kite, to this.
Right, and telephones. I mean, these are things that didn't exist prior to, and now we're going into another huge leap into this new Renaissance age. And so even though we have had a tough 2020, we're leaving that behind, and that's the way we're going to think of it, because it's been a dark year. We don't need it no more.
You know what? I would say that 2020, in comparison to 2012, when the whole world was supposed to close down and blow up.
Yeah.
Right? That was like a dud firecracker to an M80. This has been the worst year of my entire life.
Oh, I think for everybody, and so we'll be really relieved as this new age is coming forth. So, and one of the things that is actually going to happen on December 21st, but I can feel the energy now. And last night I had one.
I was sensitive to that.
I know. And guess what? One of my cats was throwing up like The Exorcist last night. Another one's tummy was swollen, and I was going, oh, And so that's another thing, too, is what happens is when we go into this solar minimum, the sun is not protecting our planet with its own rays. So what's happening is we're getting rays from all these other star systems coming in that is actually making this happen. And these things are all timed out by God.
Remember, those rays that are coming in could be hundreds of thousands of years old by the time they reach us. But it was designed to reach us at the same convergence time as everything else.
Right.
So
Yes.
You see this here?
Yes.
We're being
politically correct.
Fiscally correct. We measured this out to be 6 feet.
Yeah.
All right, so we want it to be bonded together.
Right, here we are, 6 feet apart.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas, what the heck. So anyway, we got some great things coming forth. And incidentally, I had a recent soul portrait, and in it was 40 years. And I would have been married had my husband not crossed 40 years. You've been married 40 years, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, and that's biblically, they wandered in the desert 40 years, right?
When they did that to get rid of the generation that was wicked, that went to idolatry when Aaron was left behind and Moses went up on the mountain. So they had to wait until that whole generation was wiped out before they can go into the promised land of Canaan.
Well, and here's what's interesting, because I actually read that those of us who are light workers, love workers, it is a tribulation period that is over at the end of this year. So you could tell I'm excited about it, and
Yeah.
you should be too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so anyway, if with the overstimulation from these planets coming in, if your blood pressure races too fast, you can just ask your angels or God to normalize it.
Lessen the energy.
Yeah.
The energies, depending on your stature or your knowledge of, into the ascension, will you want it to be adjusted to. I keep on doing that. I force a habit of looking at that. You want it to basically be equal to where you are. This way, you don't get sick from it, or you don't have any adverse effects from it.
And a lot of people I know have been to the hospital for palpitations. The same thing. Ask God or your angels to adjust your body.
Stomach issues?
And stomach issues. Oof. Oh my God, yeah. And I mean, if you could have seen my poor cat last night, I felt so bad for him. And so all these things you can ask for help. And for the gastro challenges, you can ask for gut balancing and body balancing. These things will really help you during this time frame. And so as we move forward into the new year, these things are just going to start to come along. Now, here's the key. The key is that we want to figure out a way to get out of the dark ages, because guess what? We are unlimited beings as divine children of God. Right. And the prison that you hear people talking about of being freed is here.
The prison is the prison you created for yourself.
It's in your mind, your little tiny mind, that you're in this little box, and that it doesn't hurt that let's say the Illuminati or the Cabal has sent out these waves through the TV and through...
You think they sent out waves? They're sending subliminal messages constantly, and these people sit there and vegetate and believe everything it says.
I know, it's like...
Verbatim.
It's like hypnotherapy. You have to break out of this. We are children of God, which means we have limitless potential. So I want to see all those sharp new minds come forward now.
I'm having trouble seeing this. My third eye is clogged. I don't know what the problem is. Can you tell me? It's a little fuzzy tonight.
Well, this is what we need to do.
If I got to wear this, I got to make jokes. Go ahead.
Did you see on Time magazine where a young girl, 15 years old, 4 big inventions, like one was to clean the ocean, one was for getting rid of the pollution in the cars. I mean, big stuff. We have these children that are being born.
Well, they're star children. That's why they're star-seeded children. We're indigos. We are where we are, but they are coming in way ahead of where we were.
Yeah, because they came in off with the 12.
What do you think they're trying to subvert them? Because
right.
They want to steal their power. Their ability.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that leads into some of your conversation you want to talk about. And another thing before we go there, because I have a feeling that's going to take a lot of time, I want to tell you that with this...
that I'm long-winded?
Well, sometimes.
I'm long-winded.
This grand conjunction is going to give the people, they're going to connect to the 12-strand DNA, because we were cut down to 2. And there are many who still need to be connected. Also from a 7-chakra system to a 12-chakra system. So we have all these wonderful things where we're going to be evolved. And so all those bright minds have to come forward now. It's time.
Your chakra system and your DNA will be modified as you grow in knowledge. However, it won't be subverted knowledge. It'll be knowledge that comes from God, not knowledge that comes from an injection.
Right. Right. So now we wanted to talk about the levels. This is something that Tommy wanted to talk about the levels of hatred he sees. So you want to take it from there?
The hatred in itself, has been in the last, I won't say 4 years, I would say it started in the first terms of a predecessor, all right? And it immediately grew as this dynamic to hate police, take the side of the criminal over law enforcement. And that was starting to gain footage, traction. But never before has it come to the point where it is now, where it's being called the fun police, no law and order. Who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Really? Who are you going to call?
Well,
Are you going to call a social worker who's going to come out there and say, "Oh, please don't shoot that bank robber"? Come on, really. So you have to say, you have to side on the side of law and order and common sense. Yes, there are things that happen, all right, but they are far and few. All right, they are far and few in between. Okay, you're going to have bad apples in every single thing in every single group. But it seems like for certain groups, it's overlooked, like burning down cities, pulling down statues. That's okay. That's okay. And you won't hear a peep from anyone on the certain side of the aisle about that not being okay. I haven't heard one come out and go against it. Not one. For fear of reprisal from their own party. So that is where the hatred starts. Because they will not sit and talk and try to reason out the issues that are here and foremost, okay? Because there's a refusal to compromise or to come to some kind of agreement to hold the country in a stranglehold. Tonight, if they don't come to an agreement, the government won't be funded. All right? And you're going to rely on these people who have done nothing but hold up the stimulus package to help millions and millions of Americans and their businesses to stay afloat. What is wrong with this? This is tit for tat. Oh, I don't like them and they don't like me. It's got to stop. You can hate the crime. You can hate the subversion. You can hate everything that's bad. But you have to learn to start to trust each other and love each other. Because you're all human. We're all part of the human family. Okay? It's being fueled and driven by an out-of-control media.
Well, that's because they're all the same people.
They're all owned by the same people.
They're all owned by the Fortune 500 companies.
That's right.
And it's one voice, and they do this to hypnotize you. And I want to tell you something. Let's think of where the possibilities this could lead us. Remember when Hitler took over? First thing they did was try to get all the guns. Now, why are they afraid of all the people with the guns? Because they know we have a vast military people who have been in many wars who would defend this country. That's why they want the guns. Just like Hitler, once they took the guns, then they had complete control, right? Think about this.
You have a right to militia, to form militia.
So
you have a right to do that.
That's right, you do.
And they want to take that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
And
those that want to
defund the
do
police.
that, you better know what their names are and from where they come from. Those that want to do that, okay, are the ones that want to see this country go into socialism. This country goes to socialism. All you young people out there who may be seeing this and think you're an idealist and you go to college and that makes you really smart. That makes you part of the problem because you believe everything hook, line, and sinker because you weren't born with any common sense in your mind. Okay? To believe that. These are rights that our forefathers have fought for and died for and bled for. All right? No active soldier, no veteran should vote against that. It's despicable how it's driven down our throats every day. You turn on the news and you see these people with these morbid faces. You're going to tell me in the world is as vast as it is, nothing good ever happens?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the thing.
Nothing good ever happens. They're showing Mike Pence getting a shot today, okay, for the COVID virus.
Yeah, probably water.
Okay?
Probably water.
I that would be the day. That would be the day. You know what I mean? What is this, a kumbaya moment? Oh, we had to rush to all of this stuff. You know what happens when you rush a remedy? It don't work.
Not only that, but they've been looking for a remedy for the cold, the flu.
Yeah.
They have
Cancer.
shots that are only 40%.
If you find a cure for cancer, all these people be out of jobs. That's why they never find a cure.
Yeah, and so within less than a year, suddenly they have the cure. Come on, people, open your eyes.
Open your eyes to this. This is a pure loaf of Genoa.
It is.
Okay? You want to believe that.
I could use other words.
So can I, but we're on TV. You know?
Well, okay, so now you got to understand something. This is coming out of the dark ages, and what the dark is trying to do is trying to keep us from entering this Renaissance era of light and joy and love by doing all these things. Now, they're releasing the prisoners all over the country, letting the
inmates run the asylum.
Yeah, the inmates are running the asylum, and so we got the foxes in the hen house. We need some divine government. This is what I'm calling for the way out of and into a new Renaissance era, divine government.
Number one, and this had better be brought to the forefront. We need term limitations on every office. 2 terms, you're done. 2 terms, you're done. You're never going to have new ideas. You're always going to have these back parlor deals, okay? These people have been in Congress 40, 50 years, okay? They're part of the problem. They're not the cure.
Right.
47 years as a senator. Never did one thing, and now he has a plan?
Yeah, now he has a plan.
How stupid can some people be to believe he has a plan?
Yeah, and by the way, how come they don't participate in Social Security? And how come they have their own medical plan? And yet they always want to defund Social Security. So, I mean, here's my idea. You want to fix Social Security? Let's get our politicians on Social Security. Let's get them on the same health plan.
Put them on the same health insurance that they want to give you.
Right.
Okay? Where they have giant copays. Where they have all these things and medicine costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they get it for free because they got carte blanche, okay? And they get a pension even after 1 term in office.
Did we elect our government to be kings and queens over us people? Did we do that? No, we did not. We
left. You elected these people to work for you. They're supposed to work for you. They're supposed to take a consensus of you, not to be told by some party leader that you got to do it this way. Because you know what happens with that? More corruption. More corruption. This whole government is corrupt on both sides of that aisle. And if you think it's not, you think one is pristine, they're closer to God. No. There is so much corruption in there too. And you can see by the unwillingness to at least stand with the president a little bit. He's your party leader. So where is it? It's a disgrace. They're spitting on the democracy. They're stepping on the souls of all those soldiers that died to give you the freedoms you have today to do this stupid debauchery out in the street for no reason.
And to defund the police. I mean, come on, anybody is nuts to do that and to let the prisoners out.
Anybody who's calling for that is the problem.
Exactly.
They
are the problem.
Anybody's calling for that. All right? Because when there's somebody shooting up your house, don't call us. We ain't coming. All right? That's all. Let them kill themselves.
Okay, so this is true, people.
That's
Open your eyes.
why we have to get back into love. If we don't get into that, your world is doomed.
Well, one of the ways to get back into it is and it's already being done, although it probably isn't fully felt yet, is the balancing of the male and the female, the yin and the yang, because it's when you're polarized to one side or the other that you're out of balance. And that's what we need. We need to have balance so that we can think straight, think lovingly. And personally, I don't know about you, but everywhere I go, people are wonderful and nice and loving. So the things that they're portraying on TV is just not true. It's not true.
They are definitely trying to set groups against one another. There is high crime going on in those neighborhoods that have always been crime-ridden. But now it's like the OK Corral. It's a shootout every place you go. Not one word's mentioned about that. But God forbid somebody of a lighter color, and it's a worldwide news event. Why? Why? You got more going on in your own community. And the best part about this is that their spiritual leaders that come out against this, they're shouted down.
I know they're nuts.
They're shouted down. They want law and order. They're shouted down. What kind of thing is that? These are men of the cloth, men of God.
Well, I mean, people I think that people are not right in their minds because they're not right now because of the virus, people being shut in. That's not socially acceptable, and I don't even think it's necessary.
This virus, okay. First of all, like you mentioned last time, is already has its own patent, and it's patented right here. in the United States. But it's been tweaked. Okay, it's been tweaked. All right? Those who did the tweaking, they have the real antivirus to it. Okay? It's amazing to me how they never get sick.
Yeah, right.
They never get sick. And they live and they live and they live. Nothing happens to them.
99 years old and they're healthy
and
as
they're
can
still
be.
trying to stay in Congress. Okay, or stay in the Senate. People wake up 2 terms, get them out of the office. Because the clubhouse camaraderie, and if you think you don't have a lot of shenanigans going on across the aisle, they make it sound like they don't get along. Let me tell you something, when it comes to this, and wherever it's coming from, they're kumbaya moments that you don't see.
You know, it's really a game anyway, because it's to make you think you have a choice. When you know that the shadow government behind everything just pays both parties to put them in. So, I mean, wake up. This is just a separation thing, just like the black and white thing. Tommy, you're black, I'm white. You know what the establishment fears? This.
Yes, they fear that we hold hands.
They fear that we hold hands and we're together.
There was a Star Trek episode back in the 60s. Frank Gorshin was one of the characters. He played the Joker, the original, Riddler, rather. The original Riddler on the Batman series. He was half black and half white. His nemesis was half black and half white, but on the opposite side. They were sworn hated enemies. Why? They're the same.
I must have missed that episode.
It was just on recently. Star Trek is on about 9 o'clock on one of the upper channels.
Okay.
Okay. And I watched that and I saw that and I said to myself, boy, this is really a microcosm of what we're dealing with today. You know, because you're having this shoved down your throat where criminals are honored and revered, and those who save your life, who might be run into a fire without fire equipment to save your life and get people out of a burning building, okay? And they're vile. They're being treated like they're vile. They're disrespected. You know?
It's wrong, people. It's wrong.
It's wrong. If you're growing up now, you're raising children now, and you teach them to be disrespectful to police and authorities, then you're the problem.
That's right.
Then you're the problem. You shouldn't be a parent. All right?
That's true. Well, you know...
that's embracing hatred.
I know it really is. It really is. And you know what the crazy thing is? I remember seeing a show some years ago where it was like the History Channel or something. And Genghis Khan was responsible for 60% of all of humanity. One race. Now, what religion was he? He was Asian? Was he Asian?
Well, Genghis Khan was Mongolian.
Yeah, he was Asian, a form of Asia, right? And so imagine.
He had one hell of a harem.
Yeah, imagine.
If he populated half the world, boy.
More than half the world. I'm talking 60%.
I'm tired. We're just talking about it.
So, I mean, think about this. When we get into the thing of different races and colors and all, come on, underneath the skin, we're all the same color.
That's true.
So,
Nobody bleeds a certain color other than red.
Yeah, right. Unless they're, some type of alien, maybe blue, their blood is blue or green.
Could be.
But you know what? I really want to talk about, now that we're moving into this Renaissance area, we want to put this stuff behind us. We brought some of the ugly outs for you to think about and to ponder on. And now it's time for us to come up with a new way of thinking and doing, because it's upon us. It's upon us to create the vision of the world we want to be in.
Right.
Now, for me, like when I say my prayers, I always ask that I think everybody should have a roof over their head and food on the table.
That's right. There should be no poor. There should be no poor. We're the richest country in the world. There should be no poor. Absolutely not. There are always going to be those that want to be free spirits, like the way back in the 30s and 40s, had hobos, tramps that were on trains and things like that. But that was the life they liked. That was the life they wanted to have. Okay, they worked when they could. They worked to survive here and there. But today, it's incredible. You see the volume of people. I mean, I was in the city today, and they were all over the place. Well,
this is part of this this COVID thing. They want to. Here's the.
They're safer outside on the street than they are in these institutions. Huh. They are, and they're not getting sick. They only get sick was when they force them into those shelters for them. That's
What-
why they'd rather stay on the street.
You know, the word that I feel that's happening here, because we know that it's only at 3% this virus compared to a typical 12.9% for other flus each year. I'm thinking that what they want to do is put enough people out of work so they can bring in the socialism, so that then the government has complete control over the
Complete
people.
Control over your finances. They're going to
Is that what you want?
They're going to give you a monthly allotment. You're going to live within it. So if you're a doctor and you were making $500,000 a year, $250,000 a year, well, guess what? You're going to make $50,000.
No, maybe 30,000,
Maybe even
because
30.
you know they won't want to give you
Okay.
more,
They
and
don't wanna
they
give
won't
you
want
that.
to
They don't
give you
wanna
enough to
empower
be
you.
happy. You know what I mean, or to be empowered.
That's right.
Mark our words. This is true. So you know, if you think that's a good thing, it is not. And you want to get on the dole, believe me, it is not a good idea.
No, it's not.
It's not a good idea.
It is not.
Okay, so anyway, so now let's go on to one a big key is divine governance for the people, because you know what, we need government.
We need a spiritual government.
Yes.
One that comes back to God. You take God out of the equation. You take God out of the equation, the thing you're trying to do fails. It's doomed to failure, because then it's up to the judgment of man. And the judgment of man is fallible. The judgment of God is not.
Right, and you know what's crazy? If you think about it, you know, my mouth must have hung open when I read this in the Bible. 666 is the number of man. You know, because we have free will. God gave us free will, and you know what? God has a plan for this world. I think we should let God rip and do his thing, because you know who's created all this horrible stuff that's going on right now, but man. And you know it says 666 is the number of the beast, and who is that? Man. We got to grow above this.
The problem is that you've got all these rogue billionaires around the world, not only here in this country, around the world, that have joined together to form this
consortium
against humanity. Okay, they want to see you, especially people our age, gone, because they can subvert the younger generation, the millennials particularly.
Yeah,
they can subvert them
because they've been coddled too much.
Because they've been coddled, they've been given, they've been you know, and that's who they're counting on.
Look up the Georgia Stones. Look up the Georgia Stones. It's written in stones in Georgia, the plan.
That's right. Why don't you watch the movie 1984? Because you're moving towards it. All right? George Orwell, 1984. He might have been 34 years too late on that one, but it's happening now.
He was ahead of his time. He was probably having visions of that.
That's right.
But you know, one of the things, here's another one on my wish list. Simulators, because I know they exist, so we can wean off of animals. I mean, they're God's creatures too, you know.
The problem with this is that if we wean off animals, which we should, okay, we should be the plant eaters that we were meant to be, okay. If we wean off the animals, there probably will become a time where they'd have to put them down, because there'd be too many of them.
Well, yeah, but it'll probably take a while for people to stop eating it.
That's going to take a long time for people to stop eating it. You know, because somebody's not going to say, ooh, look at it, nice tomahawk steak. Yum. No, let me have this salad here with croutons. You know, does that make me look fat? You know, and it's going to take a long time before somebody moves away from that to that.
Right.
But the move has to be made. Limit the amount of intake of red meats. Limit it. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. And you're probably going to lose some weight. Okay? And your heart's going to thank you, because it ain't going to have that stuffed oil can that you call a heart. You know? Get rid of some bad habits. Quit your smoking. Really quit your smoking. It causes so many other issues. You know? And that's a Christmas wish that I make for all of you out there who are having a battle with this. Even for those of you that don't want to quit, instead of having 20 cigarettes today, try 19 for a couple of weeks. Then try 18 for a couple of weeks.
Yes, because
try to get your body not to go into shock.
You know what? Because I'll tell you what, my husband crossed over from lung cancer because he smoked when he was younger. If you can't quit, make sure you're getting a chest x-ray every year before it's too late for you too. And but to get there, another thing that has to be done is 5G has to be modified so that
5G
it's
has
safe.
to be 5G has to be taken out of the hands that it is in right now because it's in there for sinister reasons.
I know, and so it needs to be corrected so that it is either that or a free energy that is completely safe, which I know the
Tesla.
Galactics have.
Tesla has it.
Tesla had it,
Tesla
right,
had
going
it.
back years.
That's right. You think? What do you think the man was murdered? Because he was going to bring this into effect, and who wanted it? But the people that
Own the
at the
public
time,
service companies.
Well, yeah, but you got to think about it. At the time, Nazi Germany wanted it because they were going after every kind of religious relic around the world, trying to set up the master race.
Yeah.
And if they had free power, that would give them unlimited fuel, okay, to carry on their war machine. One of the reasons why they failed in what they did is they didn't have the resources. Okay, they didn't have the resources. And then again, when you think about it, was basically them, Italy, and Japan. If you put all those populations in the military together against the world that was in the fight with them, there was no way they can win through attrition.
Well, first of all, war has got to stop. See, the rich guys, they want the wars because of the fact they own the war machine companies, the tanks, the guns, the
Hughes
planes.
Corporation,
Yeah.
Hughes Helicopter, YTVY, that YTVY that would come in and the enemy could hear you from 30 miles away. All right, really? Sneaking up on them? Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, the war machine has to stop or we will never, ever become galactic citizens with our ancestors who created, God created us. But there is a whole bunch. We've been in a prison planet because we've been too brutal, what's the word, Neanderthals. Do you want to be a Neanderthal?
You think we're so modern? We are so primitive.
Yeah.
We are so primitive. I'm telling you. And I'm going to tell you this much. Keep in mind this. When God created man, he created man and he created woman to be his companion, okay? It was mankind that built the divisions. It was mankind, okay, that didn't have the love for his brother of another color. It was mankind that built those divisions, all right? And it's got to be mankind with the grace of God to bring it back to where it's supposed to be.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
Don't respect the color. Respect the man, whatever color he is. Respect the woman, whatever color she is. All right? Stop treating women. All right? This really gets my gall. When they don't want you to listen to, baby, it's cold outside, because it has maybe this connotation that only a sick mind would think of. But yet you listen to some of the music that they're singing. Killing cops, calling women hoes, you got a big fat booty, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, that's okay, right? That's okay. So where do you draw the line here? Okay? You can see it's an attack on all that is good.
Yeah, all that is good.
All-out offensive against all that is good. And
Yes.
that's what builds hatred. That stupid tube that you're watching me through, and you're watching Sis through, okay, has been used with subliminal messages to separate the races, to separate the religions,
To separate the families.
to separate the family.
Yeah.
You know, Lyndon Johnson, he was the worst thing that ever happened, okay, to the African American people, because he said it was okay to have children out of wedlock as long as the husband didn't or the boyfriend didn't live in the house. Okay? He's the one who started this chain.
Yeah, the welfare chain.
He's the one who started it.
Oh, God.
Okay? Gee, what party is he from? I don't know. Do you know?
No, but I mean, that's insanity. But I will say this. I also, on my wish list, is clean water with no chemicals in the ocean in our drinking water.
Absolutely.
How about clean skies?
We have clean skies now because we don't have anybody flying.
Well, we have some, but I mean, and vehicles that don't pollute, right?
Listen,
Wouldn't that be nice?
Listen, Tesla proved it with their car. Their car is faster than anything you can build, okay, if you want to have a hot rod, okay? And it is efficient. It's very efficient. A lot of other companies have cars that are half gas, half electric. That's okay too. We're getting there. you know, but you're not going to see all electric until the year like 2050. Because by the time people are going to give up their diesel fuel and what you call it, oil-driven cars, gasoline cars, it's going to take a while to root that back out. All right. I have a Classic. I'm not giving that car up because somebody wants me to drive an electric car. I'm not going to do it. All right. So it's a matter of getting back to common sense, teaching common sense. There should be a course in school, common sense. What is right and what is wrong? Okay. When I was a
manners,
kid,
manners. How about manners?
When I was a kid, and I would go to play, let's say, a sport. The first 3 teams got into the playoffs. The winner got the big trophies, and everybody else got second place trophy and third place trophy. Okay? They did not get participation trophies. Because you know what that does? That doesn't make anyone stand out. As long as you go there, you could be a potted plant standing on the field. You get a participation.
So why try, right?
So why even bother to try to be better? Why? But this is what we come to. We've come to everything is so PC today that the shows that we used to love in the 70s, All in the Family, the Jeffersons, you couldn't have them on today. Because somebody would cry foul. And yet they're some of the greatest shows that ever were. And comedy, really looking at people the way they were. What happened to you, TV? What happened to you? You turned zombies eating other people, eating brains and stuff like that. That's okay. Okay? That's okay. You know, they said that the average 12-year-old sees something like 13,000 murders by the time he turns 12.
Yeah, they want
13,000
to numb
murders.
people to that kind of stuff. I mean, come on.
And look at all the video games. Everybody has a gun. Everybody's shooting somebody, killing something. I mean, what is that? To desensitize you to the murders that are going around in the streets around you? Wake up, people. Teach your children right from wrong. Real right from wrong. Not right that comes from hatred. Not wrong that comes from hatred.
You know, maybe they don't know any better.
They don't.
Because somewhere there was a disconnect here.
Yeah, it's kids raising kids. Having children out of wedlock, raising kids.
And with no mentors or people to guide them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we need people to step up to the plate with that. That could be their forte.
Listen, they used to have a program that was like, where like, you know, people who are fathers and stuff like that would mentor young men, and young women would be mentored by mothers that had the time to be with these people. I forgot what they called it, but it was a program. I don't think that program is still Big Brother, I think it was
Big
called.
Brother, yeah.
And I haven't seen anything like that. But listen, you got to get that. You got to do that. You got to have a kid, have somebody who's a pillar in the community. All right? And not have his people he looks up to be bad
drug
people,
dealers.
you know? Because that's only going to perpetuate the constant thing. Always look to who's keeping you in bondage.
Right.
Always look to who's keeping you in bondage.
Right. And the main thing is your mind.
That's
You've
right.
gotten hypnotized to be in this little box of fear, and we're going to break that box wide open even
That's what
right
we're gonna do.
now. Let's say it, Tommy.
Let's
We
do
break
it.
that box open right now.
We're going to break that
We
box.
break that box.
We're going to
Yeah.
release the bonds that hold you in place into this debauchery and bring us back, right, to civility, to people of all races, okay, to have mutual respect for one another. And this nonsense that you see in the street has got to stop. And the people of all the races that are involved in this need to step up and say, enough. Enough now. Enough now.
And I say it's enough now, and so it
And
is.
so
it
it
doesn't
is.
exist anymore.
That's
So
our
it does
intention.
not.
That's our intention. That's our
Yeah.
prayer for you in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Well, that was unexpected, but it was perfect.
Wait. I'm getting foggy again. I'm getting foggy again. It must be this chain.
You know,
This
one
is
of
our DNA chain.
oh well,
We
it
can
kind of looks
modify
like
it, you know. They have
DNA.
the stuff to do it now.
I know. Well, you know, one of the things too is that, you know, one of the things I've always wondered about people who are humble and loving and wonderful, people don't always look up to them. But yet the arrogant jerks who are, you know, the more ignorant you are and the louder your voice, the more people seem to respect you. And I'm like, what's wrong with that thinking?
Because that has been drummed into their little heads. That's what it has been. Okay? You have, you know, Reverend Wright said something when Obama first became president, that the chickens are coming home to roost.
Oh.
And he was right about that. He was right about that. But it didn't come home to roost until the very end of his tenure. All right? And then to try to correct all the wrong, all right, this has been the most maligned person, okay, in history in the presidency. That all the billionaires conspired against him.
Oh, yeah, I know, because he's breaking that wheel as he was meant to do.
As he was meant to do.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing, because, see, we have that 1%ers who they control every portion of your life, and you don't even realize it.
That's right.
They control, I mean, all the resources, all the money, and they want it to stay status quo. And it's my belief that, and I'm not a political person, but I believe that he was put in there to break that wheel so that the people could come forth. And that is why everybody has been against him, because of that fact.
All you need to do is follow the money. The money comes from the big evil, and the big evil is China. Okay? That's the big evil. They funded and greased everybody around the world. And if you think they haven't done it, you better guess again. Okay? They have greased everybody around the world because they were making so much money. Their economy was booming until the election of Donald Trump. Okay? He drew sunlight on them. And the dark that they are, okay, they started to tank. Their economy started to tank. We started getting fairness in our trade deals around the world. Okay? We weren't giving potentates like in Iran. We weren't giving them billions of dollars under the table. In cash, no less. But yet, he's not in jail for treason. Oh, why? It's of a certain party. They got carte blanche. They can do whatever they want. All right? You might think that, but you remember, you're under the watchful eye of God. And if you think he didn't see it, boy, you're going to have a swim in that lake of fire. Get back to love.
Get back to love. It's time. We have this Renaissance era coming.
You don't break this cycle that you created. And yes, you created it because you allowed politicians that have been...
And corporations.
And corporations that are hand in hand. Okay? You got to do something about it. And that's what term limits will do. 2 terms. You get somebody who's really of a lesser mind in a position as a senator or whatever it is, you only have to put up with it for 8 years. Okay?
Not someone for 50 years.
Not for somebody for 50 years. You know, and I'm talking about not only the president-elect, supposedly, all right? I'm not talking only about him, but Pelosi, Schumer, what's his name, the guy on the Republican side, Mitch McConnell, and all of them. They got to go.
They're career politicians.
These are career politicians that have made their money. They're all millionaires.
Yeah, they didn't come in rich.
Are you a millionaire? You voted them in. Are you a millionaire? Are you better off because of the work that they did? No, you are not.
Yeah, we need divine government to step forward.
You need divine government, and you need rotation in the ranks. Without rotation, government will be a big monster. And that monster will step on your neck, and you'll never come up from underneath it. You better wake up and call for term limits for every political thing. Judges, everything, term limits. That's the only way we're going to move forward as a nation.
And we stop the hatred, because we are all one under the skin, and we're all the human race. And remember something, you know, I don't know about you, but I believe in reincarnation. And, you know, we come back. We have gone through. I know I've been every race in the book. every race in the book through my lifetimes because I identify with the food, the music, etc.
You're so pale now. Pasty.
You know what I mean. But anyway, so, and so let's say you don't like white or black. Guess what? You're coming back as it for your karmic lessons. So wake up. Wake up.
If you think you weren't on the other side of the coin,
wait till you come back
Okay.
when you cross as the one you hated.
remember that which you perpetuate in this life, you're going to be in the next one. And guess what? You might not like it.
No, but you know
Because
what?
you might be on the other end of the stick.
That's right. And they will be. And, but here's one other thing I got to point out before the show ends. See, we are all created. We are all angels who came down and for soul evolution. And some of them played the dark, some played the light. The thing is that the dark forgot that they were God's children. And so, and then they liked the power and the greed. But you know what?
They got, that's what it was.
They
It was
got
the
greedy
greed
and they
it was
liked the power.
That's
But
because-
they're still God's children.
That's because the fallen archangel, Satan, was given dominion over this earth for 10,000 years. But that is over.
It's over.
Over.
So now it's time for those of you who are on that plane to ask for forgiveness and do the right thing.
Don't watch that screen and believe everything you hear verbatim. Start to use the God-given sense you were given. All right? And when you hear a story on the news, try to see what's beyond that. All right?
What's motivating it?
Okay.
What's motivating
Remember,
it?
all your news comes from one source.
Yeah.
One source.
So
All right? One source. And everybody takes that same thing. You can go on all the channels and you will hear
the same thing.
the same hogwash, even on Fox. You will hear the same hogwash. It all comes from the same news channels.
The people, they must write one script and pass it out.
That's what they do.
Well, it didn't used to be that way. The newscasters would tell the truth. Nowadays,
There used to be UPI. There used to be AP. There used to be International something or other. Okay? There used to be other agencies. Now there's only one. All right? And if they want to lie to you or just not tell you the complete truth or the other side of the coin, well,
there used to be a movie called Wag the Tail or
Wag the
something
Tail.
like
You
that.
got
Wag
the
the Tail. And if you can dig up that movie, you'll see exactly how they spin these things.
that's right.
Yeah, they spin these things the way they want you to believe. But here's the thing. People who tell the truth are labeled conspiracy theorists because
Yeah.
guess what?
That's their thing. That's what they want to call us. So people say, "Oh, don't give them no credibility."
Don't give them no credit.
Don't give them no credibility. They don't even see the proof in front of their own eyes.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that people who, they're critical thinkers, and too many people are just, oh, they do the right thing. Oh, they do the right thing for us. Oh, come on, open your eyes.
I can't support him. He's a liar. Show me one politician that isn't a liar.
I know, isn't that the truth?
Show me one, and then I'll show you who will worship him or her. Are you kidding me?
There isn't a such thing.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. They play the game well.
Listen, they take the narrative and they run with it. And if there's something they're caught with, they get caught with all this Ukraine stuff. They just they had to win the presidency so they can pardon the guy. That's what it's about.
Terrible, right?
Okay, so everybody says, "Oh, well, he's the president now, and that's it. There's no more investigation." That's BS.
I know. I know.
They're going to defund it. That's what they'll do.
You know what would cure a lot of these problems? I really think that the people who do these things, it's because they don't know love. They truly don't know love.
They never knew love.
They never knew love. They've never had love. The only thing they have is greed or power or fear, and that's their motivation. So here's my wish. Here's my wish. Here's my wish that everyone would meet their twin soul and find true love so that you too can know love and know that all this other stuff is not important.
Well,
we got to fix it.
That's right. Like I said before, the prime directive is to love others as God loves you and to be of service to your fellow man. And now in this Christmas season, that is double.
Paramount.
That is paramount to be that way. okay? If we don't start taking the first steps in the right direction, all right, to help our fellow man and to love others the way God loves us, we're doomed as a society. Okay? We are doomed as a society.
So wake up.
We have to take the asylum back
Yeah,
from those who want to see
perfect.
us be under oppression. And believe me, there's plenty of that going around. That's why you need term limits. All right, you need to stop the oppression. We the people, okay? Remember that. We are the power behind the government. But now we're not. You're just numbers. All right? That's what they made you become, an automaton that follows directions and follows everything they say.
And believes every
That's
stupid
right.
little
All
thing.
this COVID is spiking. It's spiking. It may be spiking here and there. Okay? But it's no more deadlier than the flu. But they want to make you think that this is the bubonic plague. It is not. It is not. All right?
Let's move into...
Be your own doctor. Be your own doctor.
Let's move into the Renaissance era, all of us. Those who, it's my intention that all those who are the perpetrators wake up, realize they're children of God.
Wake up and realize they're being used.
You know, huh?
Wake up and realize they're being used.
Yes.
Okay? They can't see their hand in front of their face. They're so driven with hatred.
Yeah. Well, let's...
Oh, yeah, I want to drive a point across. So let me go out there and loot a Nike store and take somebody's livelihood away from them, okay? And I got my point across about my cause. No, you didn't.
No.
You just broke the law.
And well, not only that, but then you know what happens? That means that Nike store will fold up business and you won't have a place to shop. And it happened in Camden, where I was born. Yeah. During the race riots, they started looting all the stores, the Acme's, the furniture stores, everything. And guess what? Camden is a ghetto. It has been one of the worst cities in crime rates because people...
Philadelphia was busting them in to go vote.
Well, I mean, they looted their own community, and no, they don't have any place to buy food. They got to go to Wawa to buy food. I mean, come on, people, use your noggin. You're only hurting yourself.
Listen.
And everybody else.
You know, Dr. King said it, justice through peaceful measures, okay? And you have nothing but that, no more. You don't have it anymore. You don't have one that steps out and does that. People respect a peaceful protest that's for a point or to bring a point. Okay?
That's logical.
Because he came from love.
Yes.
He was a real minister, not like some of these artificial ones we got running around right now. They call themselves to do what? To hold people, and make them pay them under the table so they go away. All right? And we know who we're talking about here. All right? This has got to stop. It's just got to stop. Take control. Without term limits, this will never end. Term limits must be on the ballot for the next election. Term limits. Brian, how much time we got? We got 3 minutes.
Well, we started out also happy, and we can still be happy, but we need to set these things right. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise,
otherwise you have exactly the world that you want.
Yeah, and is that what you want? I want you to think about what you want.
And then when you start complaining about it, okay, all of us will be dead. But when you start complaining about it, who are you going to complain to? You're going to be part of the number system. They don't like you, you're gone. You'll disappear. Some gulag somewhere, like they do in China, like they do in Russia. Disappear. That's what you're moving towards. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Grow some common sense.
Oh, Tommy.
All right?
Well, we've made some very good points here tonight, and I hope you give it some serious thought and know that we have the capability. That's what the cycle is all about, is moving into a new vision for humanity and for Earth. But first, before you move into something new, you got to recognize the problem. You gotta recognize the problem.
What she's saying is exactly right. And you also have to rectify the way you've been to God, okay? And you have to ask for his forgiveness in order to move forward. If you can't love who you are and the person you are, you can never love anyone else, okay? Because you have to know love to give love.
That's true.
All right? And these people, these kids, they don't know love. They don't know love. They don't know what it is. They don't know the sacrifices that entails in love. They don't know what the sacrifices are that entails in raising a family, a godly family, a family that has a moral compass, that knows right from wrong. Killing this person is wrong.
God,
okay?
Yeah.
Not that there's a gray area. There's no gray area. Kill, jail. Works for me. Okay? Don't kill. Have a wonderful life. That's one of your commandments. Thou shalt not kill. That's out of every state building now. Why? Because you moved away from God.
I didn't realize that, really.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And then you got that Prince of Tides up in Albany there, who turns around and says, he writes a book, and he exonerates himself completely from the mess with the COVID, putting him into nursing homes and killing hundreds of people. Okay? But he had nothing to do with that, no. His hands were tied. Yeah, his hands were tied. Yeah, okay. Wow. Really? Really? And you're going to let him get away with that, right? Everybody who votes for him is on the money wheel. It's getting greased. Okay? Through a union, through something.
Whew. Whew. People don't realize unless you've worked for the government or your eyes are truly open, which, by the way, when I was younger, I did work for the government. And everybody knows everybody. Everybody does favors for everybody. This is the way it is. It's a clubhouse.
It's a clubhouse mentality.
Yep. And so that's why term limits are important. And we do want to, didn't Bobby want you to thank some people?
Yeah. We want to we want you to all keep in prayers our first responders, firefighters, cops, EMTs, sanitation workers that are out there breaking their back, shoveling the snow. Everybody who's in uniform has to be out there, and all essential workers besides them, all right, that are out there. We're in harm's way, so a special blessing to them on this Christmas season here. And remember, a good deed counts for double during this time. So love one another as God loves you.
Amen.
Amen. Good night, everyone.
Good night.